Hey, what's up? So today we're playing Marath, Will of the Wild, and I feel like this guy is going to become my signature commander if I get the money for it to, play him in real life, do some casual stuff. Garuk's Horde is fun to put in green. I've got an Eternal Witness. I've got Swiftfoot Boots and Lightning Greaves. So I've got all the basics. Got Xenagos, Return to Dust, Path. I have 3 Path to Exiles. Holy shit. Never thought I would get that many, if even one, once they started just building and going up and going up. But Marath is like toolbox creature by himself. You have so many options of different decks to build. You can build a burn deck with him, you can build a token deck with him, or you can build a counter deck with him. I'd say this deck is more of a counter deck as far as 1/1 counters, and it's all about just putting 1/1 counters on all your creatures. I mean, you can do all 3 with this. Because with Colonian Hydra, I can double the counters on him. And if I just keep doing that, I can burn for a shit ton of damage. Or I can put out giant creatures. Or I can just, like, shotgun with him. So it's just really, really fucking cool. And he's also a 3-drop, which is awesome. And if you keep killing him, he keeps getting scarier and scarier and scarier. So people don't want him to die or just like second guess it. And those are the best kind of commanders. Because if you don't want him to die, there are a few of those guys where they get tougher the more, counters you put into them. And Marath is one of those dudes. So the deck I'm facing right now is very blue. It's very annoying, very frustrating. But it didn't really have a game plan from what I saw, unless I was just doing way too much stuff that he couldn't put anything out, and the only thing he could do is just try to prevent me from doing stuff. It's like, let's say you're planning to, let's say there's like a zombie apocalypse, and you're thinking about a game plan to go out there and, find a hospital, and you spend all this time thinking about the game plan. But then zombies are knocking on your door and they're trying to destroy your house, and it's like, oh fuck, we gotta abandon that plan and we gotta figure out how to get rid of these fucking zombies now. So I'm guessing that's what happened, but you will witness that, so I'm not going to completely give away every single fucking thing that happened, because I want you to watch it and see for yourself. But this was it was still a 18-minute game, but it still went fucking fast. Like, we were going turn, 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 turn. And I was getting my stuff out quick. He was getting his stuff out quick. He knew exactly what he wanted to do. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. In the feed, I didn't really hear about him he didn't really talk about getting mana screwed or, getting top decking, getting screwed with card draw. But he was doing a lot of scrying. He was doing a lot of draw cards. So I don't know exactly what he was looking for. This creature as a commander, the one he's using, I'm sorry I don't have, I said this in the last video, but I'm sorry I don't have the window to the right open where you can see the cards as I play them and they're kind of zoomed in. But like I said in the last video, it is just, I feel weird looking at, having chat in the background. It's just weird. Whatever random shit we talk about, or it'd be like, did you tap your creature? Does your creature have haste? Are you going to counter that spell? It's just kind of distracting. So I don't like putting that in the corner. So I'll just kind of, explain stuff as it comes out. But, this commander puts 3/1/1 counters on lands whenever you cast an instant or sorcery. I don't know if it's that or just non-creature spell. I think it's instant and sorcery. So, I guess you can just load up your deck with counter spells and use those counter spells to make land creatures. So I can see how that's a viable strategy. Make sure they don't play the game, and every single time they try to play the game, you make giant fucking lands. So I guess that is kind of a cool strategy. It's still shitty and poops right out of an asshole because it's blue, but it's still a cool strategy. Obviously it didn't work. This reminds me of my first semester at school. Didn't know anything about Commander, and I just play, 60 card, modern legacy decks. And I made this white-black deck with a lot of combat tricks in it. It was like a Lorwyn, Shadowmoor deck, and it had the black-white Legion at like Deathbringer Liege or whatever, and like Edge of Divinity, and Batwing Broom, or Brune, or whatever, and Unmake. And so just, I had all these responses in my deck for opposing decks, but I didn't really have a strategy to win. Just like ways to prevent stuff from happening, which is kind of weird in white-black. Like, that is more like a blue-red kind of thing. But dude I was playing with, who's a good friend of mine, said, you are going to run out of combat tricks. You're going to run out of shit to do. You're going to run out of, ways to prevent my stuff. And when you do, I'm going to kill you. And that's what happened. I'm like, nah, you ain't going to have that many creatures to fucking deal with me. You ain't going to have that many instants and sorceries. But he did, because he plays Toolbox. And, I didn't have enough ways to just stomp on him, and so I lost the game. And that is exactly what happened here. I don't know if telling you that he lost the game is a spoiler or not, because I'm not going to post games or matches of any game that I play where I lose, because I feel like there's really no fucking reason to do that. Like, hey, look at this game where I go like 2-20, and it's just something to look at, and it's not entertaining at all, and it's dumb. So I wouldn't do that. But this is a really amazing combo to start out with. Like, these are just, if I could pick 3 cards to have on the battlefield at once, it would be these 3 creatures. I give Colonian Hydra haste. I double the counters on Marath. He becomes a shotgun, or he becomes like a fucking burn spell on a creature. And it just gets ridiculous. And the game is just me trying to recast this combo, being like, I need these pieces out. I need Xenagos to give this creature haste and double its power and toughness. And I need Marath out to deal commander damage. And, I need these counters doubled on Marath, so I have a shit ton of options to use Marath on. I was a little worried at first about, like, how I was going to put more counters on Marath. I mean, I had, like, Gavany Township and Oran Reef and Cathar's Crusade and stuff like that, but I'm like, that's really slow. I can't see a way to make... Yeah, I mean, doubling Season 2 and stuff like that, but I couldn't see a way to make adding counters on him something that I could just utilize all the time and every turn. But Colonian Hydra by itself is enough to just make this ridiculous. Luckily, I got all the pieces I needed. I don't think Marath needs to gain counters. I don't think that's really important. I think Naya by itself is just amazing. My 2 favorite color combos, my 2 favorite shards are Jund and Naya. Unfortunately, there's like only 2 good Jund commanders, Prosh and Tyrant. I mean, that's arguable, of course. People are going to have their own thing. There's that guy that's like doubles the counter on himself every time the creature dies and stuff like that. But I just don't think Jund has a lot of options. And I think there are a lot of really weak, useless commanders in Jund. But that's my own personal opinion. I could be completely wrong. There could be some combo with some random, Jund commander that I've never thought about before and be like, oh shit, that's fucking broken as hell. I cannot believe Jund can do that. But Jund is a fucking powerful shard for Timmy decks. And I'm a Timmy player. I like having a giant fucking board state. And I like looking at my goddamn army and my, unstoppable wall of stompy creatures. And it's just satisfying to me. So I just love decks like that. And I don't necessarily play green a lot. I love black. Black's my favorite color. I like sack outlets. I like to be able to get around indestructible and get around hexproof. But there's not a lot of... there's like no artifact or enchantment destruction in black. Like absolutely none. You'd have to put in like Steel Hellkite and Unstable Obelisk and things like that to just destroy permanents. But black by itself cannot deal with artifacts and enchantments. So it's just pretty much creature destruction and life loss. Ghoul Color Giza is my most powerful deck right now of my real life decks. and it is a deck that slowly builds a giant board state with demons and zombies and things like that. And then Rise of the Dark Realms just wins the game. You know, if you're playing a 4-player match and everyone's loaded their graveyards from creature destruction and board wipes, you know, I'll bring back 5 of my demons. I'll bring back your Avacyn and your Gizella and your Aurelia, and I'll bring back another player's fucking Woodfall Primus and Craterhoof Bahamut, and another player's fucking Stormtide Leviathan and Xenagos God of Revels. So it's just like, you just win when you play that card. So it's pretty fucking crazy, and I love it. But, you know, talking more about this game, this guy's just kind of, like I said before, hanging on for dear life, and I'm just building, you know, like 1 or 2 things are being prevented, and it's like, okay, my mana base is fucking nuts. Go ahead and keep bouncing shit. You know, you can't destroy my creatures, I'll just bring them back. Or, you know, counterspell, as you see, I have Karma Guide in my hand, and also I've got Eternal Witness, so I can just, those are 2 instances of bringing back from my graveyard in white and green. Also, I have a Sun Titan in here, so I can bring back like Aura Shards and Eternal Witness, so I can just constantly keep using Eternal Witness. Green is nuts. Green is absolutely nuts. Green-white is nuts. Anything that adds to green-white is nuts. Bant is crazy. Naya is crazy. Abzan can be crazy, but black really slows Abzan down. Teneb the Harvester, Karador, Ghost Chieftain, gave Guru of Spores. Those are all really fucking powerful commanders, and Enafenza is an extremely powerful tiny leader because a 3-drop 4/4 that adds counters to things and then also is like a permanent Bajuka Bog is just fucking retarded. Absolutely retarded, and I think people take her for granted. I remember there was a week where she was used competitively, and she just went up to like $15 for like a week, and now she's $2 again, which makes me sad. There is an Abzan Legendary that I was really excited for, and I was really hoping that he would be utilized and viable, and that was Dagadar the Adamant. I just thought it was a really cool card, manipulating counters, taking them off of your, you know, opponent's creatures and putting them on your creatures. And I just think that was fucking awesome. Or maybe you had like wither counters on your creatures, and you just put those wither counters on your opponents, and you can just manipulate the field. And I just thought that was really cool. Plus, you had vigilance, which was fucking awesome. And if you just like, you know, if you've got a bunch of counters on all your creatures and you just move them all to Dagadar, he can be crazy. And I still want to build a deck around Dagadar because it's fucking awesome. So yeah, that's really cool. You know what? I might just do that now. We'll see. We'll see if it's viable. It'll definitely be interesting and unexpected. But as you can see, I keep getting my 3 pieces, and Karma Guide is going to bring back Xenagos eventually. Do I have 5? No, I would only have 3 mana untapped. Yeah, I was just bringing Garruk up. You know, he isn't really a planeswalker that ultimates and you wait for him to do, you know, his ridiculous, like, Sorin ability, or, you know, you just fucking win the game. But he's just like a planeswalker that you're gonna constantly keep utilizing. You know, bring him up, untap all your lands, cast more spells, give your creatures trample, and just do it over and over and over again. And I like planeswalkers like that. That's cool to constantly have them viable and not just bring them up to ultimate and just sack them to get your crazy emblem. I think Gideon, ally of Zendikar, is one of the only emblem planeswalkers that you can just keep loading up on emblems with, and you know, you keep him on the field to just load up on emblems, keep giving your creatures +1/+1/+1/+1, and this guy's just got so many ways to just prevent things but happening. But like I said, you're gonna run out, and I don't know what was going on with his deck. He had nothing to protect himself. You gotta have like a fog bank in there or something. You gotta have, I don't fucking know, like, I really don't know. Ghostly Prison plus Propaganda, and I'd pay 4 mana to attack with whatever. So white blue has like Pillow Fort, and so he could have just been Pillow Forting, or he could have cast his commander. And I mean, I guess he wouldn't use his lands to block because then it's like I have Annihilator and he can't cast anything anymore. So that's the risk that you get with that. It's not really it's not a landfall ability. It just manipulates lands, but that's the risk that you take when you do a land creature deck. I personally hate land creatures. I don't use Zendikar lands unless I absolutely need to, like in real life when I don't have as many dual lands as I need and I want to have some rare dual lands, because a land that turns into a creature with Death Touch or Lifelink or Flying or First Strike is a lot better than just a gate, so you use what you got. And here's some of his like last ditch efforts. Give me that card draw. Give me that fucking scry. Let me get something. So, you saw he got a Cyclonic Rift, and even with that Cyclonic Rift, it didn't save him. He wasn't able to play anything, because I just have too much fucking mana. And Xenagos being out, haste. Haste is terrifying. Haste is terrifying if you have big stompy creatures. You have this turn to respond, or you are fucked. And that's just how that works. But on a different subject, interestingly enough, I had this weird thing in my head where I only wanted to use cards from the sets that the commanders came out of. So my first ever commander was Marath. Actually, it was Marath Will of the Wilds. And I was like, okay, I'm only going to use like the creatures with power 5 or greater get Vigilance or Indestructible or Trample or whatever, because they were all from the Alara set. And I'd use like whatever Reborn, the green and white return to your hand, and Mael's Aria or whatever the fuck it was called. And I'd only use those cards. And since then, I've obviously learned I am the Rain Man of Commander, and I know the staples, and I know the prices, and I know, the combos and stuff. But luckily, I'm a Timmy player, and I will always be a Timmy player, and I will always enjoy just having fun and being stompy. So this is it. This is the final, straw for this guy, and he's about to get fucked. And he does get fucked. And so he concedes, because it is most definitely game over. Thank you guys for watching. I'm hoping to have another one of these soon. I will see you guys later.